the mind's nature to produce constant desires, insatiable desires. Insatiable means you can never ever satisfy what your mind keeps wanting and asking. And it's the nature of the mind to constantly keep producing, generating desires. And it is the desires that draw the mind to develop an anxiety for things you do not have. So when Kabir ji says, be slow, O mind, slow everything happens, he is reminding us of the law which we spoke about, is the law of karma and the law of destiny, the law of causation, which is you got to perform your actions. And at the same time, you must learn to surrender yourself to the providence and gracefully accept the fruits that come your way. But if you don't surrender and gracefully accept the fruits, there is bound to be an anxiety. There's bound to be restlessness. So at every stage of life, to remember that we get what we deserve and not what your mind keeps desiring or craving or wanting. So this is a constant chant of the mind. You must remember, this is an ever-going process. Your mind constantly keeps chanting because there's a perennial supply of desires. The mind is constantly provided with these demands that if you are not, it's in fact, it's a matter of time. The moment you lose your alertness, you fall a prey to it. It's like you're all the time walking on a very thin plank and there's barely enough space to put even one foot. Get your both feet grounded. Imagine you're all the time walking on a very thin plank. How long can you have your alertness to keep that one foot on that plank and find your balance? Very likely that you will slip at some point. You get distracted, you get exhausted, you get tired, or you lose your attention and you fall. So to have that kind of an alertness right throughout, because the moment you relax, the mind takes over and the mind wins over you. So we have to understand we are dealing with a very formidable foe. The enemy here is very strong. I think I remember when we last concluded, we also gave a question, wasn't it? Can you, Gatrima, open up the takeaways which were sent? Rajima, read it out, please.
Even when one continues to put in consistent effort, why do results not come?
Even when one continues to put in consistent effort, why is it that the results don't come? Why do you think the results don't come? I'm putting in effort, but nothing is happening. So you are complaining, as it were. Why is that happens? In fact, the reason you complain is because you have an anxiety for the fruit. You are anxious for the fruits, and your anticipation of the fruits, you have not kept a lid on your anticipations. You're not kept a check on what your demands and what you want to reap. Unmindful that your past has not been taken into account. I may be putting in effort. One point is, as I said, the mind's anticipations are too high. You are expecting too much from the effort you're putting. That's point one. The second we are saying is, when you're putting in effort, you're not taking into account the past. Is it in your favor, or the past is against your present efforts? So the past always plays a great influence. Remember, we made this very beautiful but a very critical point. The past, all of us have a past. It's not like when I'm painting the wall is a new wall. It's like a pre-painted wall, and I'm trying to change the color. So when you're trying to change the color, the present paint which I put in always has a backdrop, isn't it? That's the reason many a time when you're trying to paint a wall which already has a paint and you can't remove that existing paint, they say you must apply a primer, try to nullify the past. So you put a coat or two or three of prime so that it becomes relatively neutral. So what we have said, a very quintessential point we must remember, is the past doesn't influence your effort in the present, but your past influences the fruits of your efforts. I repeat, the past doesn't influence my current ability to produce. Means I can still put in the effort. I can put in a lot of effort this moment, but the fruits of this action, the past influences. So I don't understand that. Since I don't understand that the past influences the fruits of my action, I complain, not taking my past into account. Are you all following? Ridigar, are you following?
Yes, Guruji, but I have a little clarification sought here in this. Maybe you were right.
I could sense it in the
yes
expression.
Yes, Guruji. No, we're talking about the past actions or current. What we're talking about, the efforts which we are putting right now, which are being diluted by the past actions. Is it some way I can able to that? We done something which we are trying to.
The present actions are not diluted by past. The fruits of
efforts.
The present efforts are not diluted. The fruits of your present efforts are diluted. You may not get the fruit as per your effort because the past is not in your favor.
It also could be in the present situations and the circumstances also that, for example, we take in a goal and we are trying, we know, like, for example, we fixed up in a month schedule and we are trying all our efforts to see that schedule, the things has to happen. But you do whatever the energies, whatever we mobilize, sometimes we need to shift the date. That could be the one simple example. But I don't, maybe there, because the past, our plans not been proper, or the past, the decisions what we have taken are not in line with the, not been aligned with the current circumstances, or we not continuously monitor. It could be various reasons where the date has been rescheduled.
Right.
If you take that as one case study or an example of any one of the thing, but we put all of them, put an enormous amount of energies and efforts in driving, but end of the day, sometimes we may not be able to achieve it. What could be the reason? What could be the thing? But if we keep saying that there is no end for us, to say, getting convinced that yes, we are been somehow not been able to do it because of either the circumstances, or we talk about the past actions. Now, how do we come to an understanding point in the life?
See, whenever we do any postmortem, there's always something you find, isn't it? So that postmortem is only to identify areas where the action was not
Right direction,
100%,
right time.
not 100% efficient. And there's nothing as a perfect action. So we'll have to accept the team, the resources, the challenges, and rationalize your expectations. This is where it helps to remain calm at all times. That's what Kabirji also saying, dheere, dheere, calm down. Don't jump in anxiety and excitement of trying to get all the fruits in one basket and believing I'll achieve success and I'll get everything in one go. That's not possible. So when you do a postmortem, you'll have to rationalize your expectations. You'll have to recast your goals. You have to realign your actions towards a new target, going by the example. But having done that, that doesn't limit your current effort, isn't it? The current ability to step up the effort. Today, what would hold me back to step up the effort? Why should the past fruit dampen my spirit to put in the effort? It shouldn't, isn't it?
Yes.
So what drives an action? What we're saying is what drives an action is the goal. So when the goal is inspiring, the action continues to spring. You have a spring in your feet. The action continues. So you remain energized because the goal inspires you. I'm talking two things here. One is the goal inspires you because your accent is on action, and action needs a goal and a direction that gets from the very goal itself.
Yes.
Right, sir?
Yes.
Now, while you're performing this current action, we also have to understand whatever I have done so far, it has certain fruits which I have to face consequence of. So the fruits of my past actions, the fruits of my past actions is influenced with the fruits of my current actions. You're able to connect.
Yeah. I will be better.
The past fruits is influencing the fruits of my present actions. But the past fruits is not influencing my present ability to perform action. Means my capacity. The capacity is not going to is not influenced. I have the choice, still have the choice. So when you don't understand that the past has a role in the fruits of my present efforts, we complain that I'm still putting why are results not coming. That's when we say, you don't deserve it. Your karma, your past is not in your favor, man. You all must have done certain actions which are not favorable to you. So you please respect your past and accept the fruit you're getting now, because the law wouldn't go wrong. The law wouldn't go wrong. Sometimes, you put many seeds, but the seed wouldn't sprout. I can't complain. Why is the seed not sprouting? The seed did not sprout because a lot beyond the seed is required for the seed to sprout, isn't it?
Yes,
I may have put a right seed in the wrong place, a right seed in the wrong climate. So what happens? You can't just talk of your effort. You must talk about the right effort and take the past into account so that the seed should sprout.
Yeah, in the main of Kabir Doha, like we in the corporate world, the patience and the perseverance are the two key factors, which we always use that as key factors. When we do this, both the patience, like mind being slow and be patient enough to put efforts and they don't see fruits of the results, we put so much of energy. But I do come across the amount of understanding and the amount of challenges which we go through while we have been having that strong will of patience and perseverance, endless perseverance, we can say that. Maybe a point of a time, the energies got lost and say that let's give up, let's happen whatsoever happens to. I think that's where we come to a surrendering. Either you are not able to meet or whatever your energies or efforts are not enough to conquer that goal or achieve that particular task the most of the time. So that's where you always disillusioned again. You feel that you are really not successful of your goals. It do happens in the most of the times.
No, it does happen a lot of time, but it is important that you put in the process. The satisfaction is in the process, not the fruits. That is what, when he says, "Dheere, dheere, O mind," the mind constantly tries to play tricks of only, it's like
instant gratifications.
Instant gratification, or you're trying to, what do you call that?
Carrot.
You hang the carrot, or just beyond your reach. Constantly that is tempting you. So the mind all constantly is playing that trick with you. Therefore, he's saying, "Oh mind, calm down. Stop, control your anxiety, control your desires, control your anticipations of fruits. Put in the effort, man." Like he says in the Doha, he says, "The gardener may water 100 times." So gardener is putting his effort. But when the season comes, right, there's fruit. So I understand that. So everything has to go well for the fruit to come. So just because you're water, don't expect the fruits.
Yeah.
So continue to put in effort. And sometimes you have to be very careful that sometimes when the sink is going to, the ship is going to sink, you can't try and salvage a sinking ship. The best thing is to let it sink.
Yeah.
It's meant to be at the seabed. What am I trying to let it float? See, that's even a captain takes that decision. I think there's no more rescue possible. We'll have to leave it. The wisest decision at that point is to let the ship sink. So there's nothing right and wrong, sir. It's just being very, very conscious and very alert at that point to take the right decision.
Yes.
All right,
yes,
sir?
right. Thanks.
Right. Yes, Setuji?
Hariom Guruji. Now you have mentioned in the past many times that enjoy the journey, focus on the present, accept the happenings as it comes, and don't anticipate fruits of action. But you have to continuously put good deeds now, for that the future will be good for you. It will automatically come without expectation. Our current is bad because of our past, and we have to gracefully accept, and resisting will give pain only, and we have to go on doing this. You have repeated many times in the past. Yeah, just wanted to share it. And I have also experienced many times in our foundation work. Many times the results don't come. There is it goes like a sine curve. But we continue to believe in the cause and continue to put effort. All of a sudden, from somewhere, help comes at the right times.
Absolutely. No, very well said. Other day, somebody known to me who was visiting, and we knew the journey of the foundation, where we started, very humble initiative to establish this institution so that this knowledge can needs a platform so that this knowledge can be imparted. And the comment that person gave was, I see a quantum leap. What the foundation was a couple of years ago to where it is today. Now, could I have thought of where it is today 2 years ago? I would not. But am I surprised? I am not. Because the effort has constantly been put in. And a lot of effort was put in and was continued to put in when there were hardly any results. There were no results at all, but the effort was being put in. And out of the sudden, you see the volumetric analysis, the crystallization, suddenly everything changes. So it doesn't happen overnight, but you must have faith in the effort, and the change at times is not perceivable. Vasantama, I was saying this yesterday. Remember?
Yes, Guruji.
Many a time the change is happening because she was just casually, I know she was saying, no, Guruji, what is the use of, we are learning so much, but nothing is happening. She was casually saying. And then I was very, very clear to say that, Ma, don't say nothing is happening. A lot is happening. Not that she was complaining, I'm saying a lot is happening, and many a time you don't see that change. It's not suddenly there is a transformation in you, but the transformation is happening. Others do perceive the change. So, recall yesterday I said that, Ma?
Yes, Guruji.
So the only objective is to calm you down, because there is a weakness for the results. There is a result orientation attitude in everybody because you're acting only for the fruits. And while you're acting for the fruits, there's an anxiety for the fruit. Result orientation hampers the efforts. Therefore, just continue to do your dharma, continue to do your part. And as auspiciously you do your action, so auspiciously will the fruits be delivered to you. And then when the fruits come, don't say, oh, it is my effort, it is my fruit. There also you understand, don't have that arrogation and say, it is my effort, my fruit. Be humble. Understand there is so much that goes in for anything to happen. And that also, again, you're mindful.
Just I was referring that nothing is registering in my mind.
No, nothing like that. I fall back on you to answer questions.
No, Guruji.
So that is the faith I have on you, the amount of sincerity with which you apply yourself to this knowledge. Right. Okay. So let's move on. We'll take up 21, please.